Welcome back to Talking Lead. This is episode 10. How's it going, Left Hand?
Going awesome, dude. Couldn't ask for a better day today.
We have a very special episode tonight. We are in our first little foray into tactical training. We're out at Palisade Tactical in Hickman County. They're hosted by 5 Star Retreat. We're here with these guys, Sam and Matt with Palisade Tactical, and then also Terry with 5 Star Retreat.
How's it going, guys?
Fantastic.
Welcome in.
Doing better. Thanks for coming out.
You go ahead. We didn't try your patience too much today, did we? Out
No.
on the range?
Not at all.
No.
Now, you guys were a lot better than what I expected. Like, that's why I had you guys shoot first.
Repeat that really loud. No.
You guys were amazing, and then I was like, you know what? Just teach me. No, you guys did really well. Yeah, when I told y'all to go ahead and shoot and kind of like run like a little diagnostic, I was like, wow, okay, it's pretty good.
I like to hear that. Makes us feel good.
I think he's just stroking us right now.
Terry, tell us a little bit about 5 Star Retreat.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. 5 Star Retreat, we're just a 300-acre retreat facility tucked away in northeast Hickman County. We do a lot of corporate retreats. We got several weddings done out here, faith-based nonprofit fundraisers, church retreats, just a lot of shooting. We got 6 different ranges. Y'all got to see a couple of those today. But
you guys have people come nationwide out here, don't you?
We do. We've had
Some
groups all
pretty
the
big
way.
organizations too, right?
Banks, record labels, movie stars, law enforcement.
Movie stars.
Yeah. Well, they don't use real names anyway. John Smith, Jane, whoever. But no, anonymity is something sought out here, and it's
Do they use fake names
cater
for
to
it?
that. Absolutely.
Do they?
Anytime they stay at a Maxwell House or anywhere else,
What's the most creative fake name that you've had used?
Some of them use old poet names. They'll take the first name from, Emerson, and then they'll use the last name of another one, Frost. So they'll kind of mix it up. But
That's not very creative.
Sure it is.
Is it? Okay.
Sure it is. Would you look for an Emerson Frost and think that it might be
I think that's a
country
made-up
music
name.
star?
Emerson,
Absolutely.
That just sounds made up.
Are they gun friendly?
Everyone that comes to 5 Star is gun friendly.
Sweet.
No, that's not
one
true.
thing we love.
That's
That's not true.
That's not true.
No, the wedding parties, we kind of hide the guns in the closet, but
we make it a real shotgun wedding.
yeah, that's right. No, we're really happy to host Palisade Tactical out here, and we're really grateful that you guys came. Thanks for making it out today. Appreciate it.
And you'll see on the video some of the places that we got to shoot here. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous location.
Well, thank you.
Beautiful. How many acres is this place?
It's 300 acres, again, tucked in northeast Hickman County, and the owner, Greg Goff, has done a wonderful job. He designed everything that you see on the property. But you can go to our website, 5starretreat.com, and that's FIVE, starretreat.com. It'll take you to our Facebook photo album, and you can see lots of pictures.
You got some very nice pictures on there. You guys need to check it out. It's absolutely phenomenal. You drive a ways to get here, but once you get here, it's well worth it.
Well, and that's part of the appeal. We're far enough away from everything to really feel like you've gone somewhere, but close enough. We're 45 minutes to an hour from Nashville.
Right.
So you don't have to drive to Gatlinburg to get away.
Just seemed a little further for me from where I came from, but that's okay.
Well, you definitely hear some banjo music on the way in. That's for sure. Oh, thanks for being here, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Also, Palisade Tactical has a website, too. It's www.palisadetactical.com, palisadetactical.com. Matt, tell us a little bit about your background.
Been doing some tactical shooting for about 7-8 years now. Been in the military, started out, kind of did the fast track pipeline thing through the Special Forces qualification course, served in that capacity overseas and stateside for several years as a weapons sergeant, also a school-trained sniper, taught some CQB schools here and there as well.
A CQB,
mostly
that's
the close quarters battle, like building clearing type stuff. Got to be around a lot of different shooters over the years, and so I kind of got involved in the teaching aspect of it, more to be selfish in the beginning, like, hey, how can I get better? But in the end, it's also learned how to diagnose other people and then show people kind of the stuff I've learned and make those guys better. And heck, like I was telling Sam, half the time people that I shoot with end up out shooting me. So it's like,
means you're a good teacher.
Well, I hope so.
You're still active duty, correct?
Yes, sir.
Which is one of the reasons why we're keeping you off. camera.
Yeah, so when you go to the video, you won't be able to see Matt keep a top secret profile.
See his nice black tactical hat, though.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I want one of those, by the way. I like that.
Sam just doesn't care. He'll wave at you in the video and everything.
Sam's a friendly guy.
Sam is, I meant to say this. The Glock 19 that I got, Sam's the reason I got that Glock 19.
Oh, that's where it came from.
Wow.
Yeah, he had it on hold at the armory, and I came in there, and I was looking for it. They're like, we don't have one. I was like, crap, I'll have to wait longer. And all of a sudden, one guy comes running back, and about 10 minutes later, he goes, you still want a 19? I'm like, yeah. Because that guy back there had one on hold, but he's willing to give it up.
I
If you
sell
still
to
want
you
to buy it.
for
I was like, heck
$200
yeah.
over my price.
It's because I saw your beard, and I
Is that
was
what it
like,
is?
you know what? I got to let this one go.
It's the beard.
Yeah, you got to respect the beard.
Exactly.
Beard's where it's at.
So, Sam, tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, it's a little bit different than Matt, but ultimately we kind of got to the same place, just different paths. I started out in the regular Army. I was a forward observer, which is basically you call in airstrikes, mortars, artillery, dropping JDAMs, things like that, calling in attack aviation, right there alongside with the infantry. So I did that for a little while, and then I had a buddy kind of push me towards special forces because I had no idea what it was. I was like, those guys get pretty cool stuff, so I'll go. They got their hands in their pockets, and I like that, so I'm gonna go check it out. Here I am. So I did some.
Can you guys mention what branch of the Special Forces you were in?
Yeah, I'd see a lot of confusion. Like everybody is like the SEALs, Delta Force, PJs, TACPs, Rangers is all special operations. So there's only one Special Forces. That's the Army Special Forces, the Green Berets.
Gotcha.
You guys are Green Berets.
Yeah, Green
Everything
Beret
else
is
is
kind of
Spec
a
Ops.
Right.
Okay.
yeah, Green Beret is kind of a nickname type thing, where the real name technically is Special Forces. Army Special Forces.
Y'all actually wear green
So-
berets, though, don't you?
That's it. Yeah, that's the headgear authorized.
Because I know
That's the name.
That's
the
the
Air
name.
Force, the combat controllers, they wore red berets, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sam is the owner of Palisade Tactical. Matt works here with him. Invited us out to do a little shooting. When you see the video, we're kind of rough looking. So we've been out shooting all day. We both left-handed and I have got toboggans on.
In the freezing
cold, and then a little bit of rain and ice towards the end of the night. We're actually going to do some night shooting after the show is recorded too. That'll be fun. We'll put a
Looking
video
forward
of
to
that. That'll be a blast. And we've learned a lot. One thing that I learned, I'm left-eye dominant. I already knew that, but I'm 100% more accurate shooting left-handed. That was unbelievable to me. Weird.
That's what I like doing. I like blowing minds.
Blew my mind.
I'm not even going to go there.
Don't.
So how did you come across that? Did somebody teach you, or did you? Because Sam is also left-eye dominant, but right-handed, same as me. And he's the one that told me that, and it was unbelievable, the difference it made. Now, it felt weird as can be, kind of like when you try to throw a baseball with your left hand if you're right-handed, but I guess it would take some getting used to. How did you come across that?
It was kind of through doing some transitions because we'll carry an M4 style rifle for our primary weapon, and we carry our pistol for secondary. So somewhere along the lines in that transition, I just thought, it'd be a lot easier if I just stay with my right eye, because I'll shoot my rifle, right-handed, and there's no way getting around that. I just shot my pistol with my right eye, and it wasn't until I had a Bravo on my team. That's a weapons sergeant, and they kind of conduct all the training out there when we're doing our training. And they were like, hey, man, are you left-eye dominant? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. They're like, well, knucklehead, you need to start shooting with your left eye. So I was like, all right, well, started shooting my left eye, and I ended up getting a lot tighter groups, and I was able to acquire that front sight a lot faster. So then I just it was weird. It really took my shooting to a whole other level because I was pretty decent. So it just really mixed it up. So, so now I can shoot with my right eye, like if I have to, and then I can switch it over and I shoot a lot better with my left eye. And same thing with the hands, because you do a lot of offhanded shooting. Because like I said, you get in a gunfight and you never shot with your left hand. Guess what? You're probably going to take a round in the bicep because that's just Murphy coming at you.
So, Sam, for our newbie listeners, because that's kind of how we started the show, is Zeke and I wanted to learn more about just everything firearms.
Okay.
When you're talking about left eye, right eye dominant, what are you talking about there? If you could clarify that for our listeners.
Go ahead, Matt.
Basically, all your visual perceptions coming in through one eye or the other. It's kind of, I guess, centered around that eye. And
It's
then
kind of like your left hand and your right hand. Your eyes are
Right.
the same way.
You're
One's
just
gonna
wired
focus.
where,
right.
if when you're
But
naturally looking,
how does somebody determine which eye they are dominant?
you actually can take your finger
Yep.
and point it at an object in the distance with both eyes open, and then close one eye and then close the other eye. And whichever eye you close, you'll see one of the eyes, your finger will move off the object like several feet.
So whichever eye that's open open and it's right on the
object. That's your dominant eye. Another way to do it is to form a triangle and then bring it back from the object, and it'll literally line up to the eye.
This.
Dominant. A little tighter triangle than that. And open up the rest of your fingers. There you go. So, yeah. No, just like that, and just trace back. Straight back to your dominant eye. So whichever eye it comes back to.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm blind in my left eye pretty much, so
bring in a little tighter circle and a small object, and then come straight back. And whichever eye it lands on, that's your dominant. So it's favoring off to the right side.
Yeah, that's cool.
My wife is left eye dominant, right-handed, and something that I taught her, and I've taught some other people that helps you is just start out on the target with your left eye. Basically cheat the gun over to that side. So, if you'd normally be lined up under your right eye, just shift it over 3 inches a little, and then use the same grip, same stance, and just basically reverse engineer everything else from there on the draw stroke. Your number 3 position, where your support hand mates your firing hand, like we talked about earlier today, is underneath your dominant eye. So that kind of
and the
fits
number
your left
3
side.
position is when we were in training. It's one of the when you're drawing
in the draw stroke.
One of the draw strokes.
Right. It's just where you
talk about that more.
Yeah, and you'll see that when you go back on the video from today. So that's kind of where that dominance, non-dominance comes into factor. Like you're literally driving the gun out in line with your dominant eye.
If somebody's right-handed and their left eye dominant, there's nothing wrong with them still shooting right-handed.
No.
Right.
They just learn to compensate, like you said, by shifting it over.
Shifting it over, yeah.
And I kind of cock my head a little bit when I
Right, and that's something I don't think I addressed on the range as clearly today. I don't think we talked about it. It was just reverse engineering. Basically, if you're left eye dominant, just start out here and align the gun, your head, the target, and then instead of having to shift your head one way or the other, just bring it back and then reverse your draw stroke from there.
Okay.
So like your position 3 would actually be over here where you mate the gun and then you drive out. So
okay, that makes more sense.
It'll make good sense when you kind of put it back into perspective.
Practice it a little bit more.
As far as that.
Yeah, and if you've been shooting with your right eye but your left eye dominant, you might have to move your head a little bit. For people who aren't shooting with both eyes open, you need to go ahead and start doing that. Because if you shut that eye, you're going to lose that situational awareness of what's going on around you. So if you were shooting with your right eye but you figure out your left eye dominant, go ahead and shut that right eye maybe a little bit just to get the hang of it. And then eventually get to the point where you can squint. You'll get to the point where that muscle memory will kick in and do what Matt's talking about, and it'll just be there. And then you can go ahead and leave both eyes open, because that's the way I had to teach myself.
Right.
I shoot with both eyes open.
Okay.
I do when I'm shooting
I'm
shooting a rifle with like a red dot sight. I'm both eyes open.
The one thing that Sam showed me about that was about target interdiction. With one eye closed, you're leaving out an entire half of your 4 quadrants as to identifying a target.
Sure.
So you're leaving yourself way more open to get flanked real easily. So that was one of the first things Sam taught me.
Makes sense.
Because you want to have that situational awareness, because
during a confrontation, you want to be aware of 360 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
Because, bad guys typically don't go solo unless they're like the really, really bad guys, like serial killers or whatever. Them guys.
You don't know. You're just dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just happens.
You just wake up dead. I don't know how that happens.
The other side of that was not also just target acquisition or interdiction, but also sight picture awareness, so that you don't have an accidental friendly encounter too as you swing.
Yeah.
And so I guess it's both ways. But Sam was real thorough about that. He's a good teacher.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
a lot of that's got to do with your training, military training.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the quicker you identify a threat or a friendly, the quicker you either engage them or don't engage them, So
Have you had any training outside of military?
It's been through the military, but it's kind of subbed out to civilian instructors.
But that's the way the military typically works.
And that's kind of like where some of the stuff comes from, and what makes it a little bit different is Special Forces has a budget. They can go out and say, hey, this guy can shoot competitions really well, so we want him to come teach us. And this whole thing kind of evolved in this war for 10 years, 10 or more years. So the competition guys kind of got with the tactical guys. So now they're teaching the tactical guys. Now we go and try that out and say, you know what, this works really great for competitions, but for combat, I need to kind of tweak it a little bit.
Right.
And so that's where it kind of evolved from, and like the higher like JSOC element, stuff like your like SEAL Team 6 and Delta Force. Those guys are cutting edge. And then it'll kind of trickle down to us. After a couple of years, it'll kind of trickle down to the regular Army, and then civilians and law enforcement pick it up. So, but that's kind of changing now. People are kind of realizing that, and they're able to go through the same places that train up those higher military units, the more elite units.
I know you were saying that Green Berets by trade are teachers.
Right.
And I did notice that when you were showing us different things, it did have more of a teaching feel to it than some trainings where it's more a talk at you, or other ones where they strong arm you into, oh, you got to do this. I mean, it's more like, okay, you're doing this. Now you need to place your hands a little bit this way. Okay, now the reason what's going to happen there is this is going to hurt when you hold your hand over this way, or whatever we talked about. But it had a very good feel where we actually were learning.
You were consulting. I think what you did was, everybody's different. Everybody's a little different in how they do things and approach things. And what you did with us was each one of us, you took us aside and you just told us to start shooting. So you were evaluating, came to the table with today, and then from that you assessed what needed to be worked on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like a golf pro for guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of sitting us down and saying, all right, here's the way it's done, you saw how we were doing it, and then you evaluated
Exactly, because I saw, as soon as you shot, I was looking at your trigger mechanics. Your trigger mechanics, they were spot on. So I was like, why am I going to waste your time talking about trigger mechanics? Or it's where a lot of times when you're sitting in a lot of those classes, you're kind of like, well, I already know this stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm not going to do that.
And then you lose interest, and then when something does important come along, you miss it.
Kind of like when you take your carry permit class and they go over every little part of the gun that you already know about for 20, 30 minutes.
Like, what do you call that again? A gun? Oh, okay,
This
I got
is
you.
the trigger. The trigger is what you pull
The button
to make a bullet
that makes it go bang.
the bang switch.
The bang switch.
We say keep your booger hook off the bang switch till the boom barrel's on the bad guy.
That's awesome.
You can use that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to write that down though.
That's complicated. Deep. I have to read that one for the first.
You guys just blew my mind.
It's funny.
It is, no matter what.
Another thing that you showed us that I thought was really, really cool was what we have dubbed the Elton John grip. That was awesome.
Elton John.
Now, did that just come today, or is that been in your arsenal for a while?
Yeah, it's been unnamed
Until today. Yes. The reason... And we'll kind of explain the grip. In fact,
have to watch
for the video, I'll show you. Basically, what it is, it's to prevent anticipation of recoil.
Well, yeah, it kind of helps with a lot of times people, when they're gripping that thing, they're gripping it like it's a broomstick.
Right.
And they'll put a 360-degree white-knuckle death grip on that pistol. It's going to bite you. I mean,
right.
And it's not necessary. So that kind of like lets you know, hey, maybe I am over-gripping this pistol. Because it really lets you know you don't really need a lot on there.
Safety check. Basically, these three fingers out, only grip. So basically, take your three fingers that it would normally grip, go around the grip. Flaring out, why we called it the Elton John grip.
The key is whatever you got, just get used to it. Because people geek out all the time about triggers and this and that.
It's if you learn the fundamentals, it really shouldn't matter what gun you've got.
Exactly.
Because I got a 1911 taste. You know what I mean? But I got a Glock budget, so I shoot a Glock. Yeah. So
of course, you could always get the what's that company that makes those at Rock Island? You get you a Rock Island 1911. You get those for $4.99.
I've actually heard those aren't that bad.
I've heard some
And I'm
good things.
pandering to get a sponsorship. Rock Island is great.
I've heard other people swear by them.
So we do this thing every week called Jackwagon Train, and each person that we put on the Jackwagon Train becomes a Jackwagoneer. First week was Diane Feinstein. She is the Jackwagon extraordinaire, the engineer of the Jackwagon Train. Last week, it was a whole company, Dick's Sporting Goods. And this week, the Jackwagoneer is Piers Morgan.
What a jackwagon.
Surprised he wasn't following Diane Feinstein, but,
Well, I think he's about this far up her... You know what? I don't even think we have to go into the reason why he's our Jackwagoneer.
I got to say his name, and then it's over with.
Piers Morgan, Jackwagoneer.
Jackwagon of the week.
Jackwagoneer.
And then we've got another one for next week that we'll save.
you could probably use him again for next week too.
We could probably Piers Morgan is the attachment to every Jackwagoneer.
He's like the wheel
of
the Jackwagon train.
You could rename the Jackwagon Train just Piers Morgan.
The Piers Morgan train. We're going to stop calling people Jackwagons, and we're just going to call them, you Piers Morgan.
PMs.
Pierce Morgan.
I was thinking that when I dropped a couple shots today, I was like, man, I really Piers Morgan that one up. You know?
That's awesome. We're officially starting a campaign.
You know,
it's going on Twitter tomorrow.
I was in the bathroom doing some paperwork.
You dropping some Piers Morgan.
And I was dropping some Piers Morgan.
I had a stomach virus once, and I dropped a Piers Morgan. It's kind of runny.
I mean, it's interchangeable with so many things.
It is, and it's official.
It's just a versatile name.
We ask 3 interview questions to everybody that we have on, and we will ask you guys. We don't have to ask the second one. The second one is, do you have any law enforcement or military experience? I think we kind of got that one down pat. First one, how did you get into firearms?
Start with Sam.
Did you grow up with them?
You know, not really. I wasn't even allowed to have a BB gun when I was growing up. Yeah.
That's cool.
So I know my dad had a couple guns, and he wasn't a hunter or an outdoor enthusiast. Yeah, I wasn't even allowed to have a BB gun. And actually, I saved up a bunch of grass cutting money I got, and I went out and I bought a BB gun off my friend, and my mom found it and took it away from me. So,
busted.
Yeah, so I proved her wrong. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
that's what it's all
You're
about.
making a living
yeah.
off of it.
to be completely engulfed with firearms.
Mm-hmm.
I like your tenacity.
You know, and that kind of reminded me of when you went to go visit Lake City, and you're talking about just laying in all that ammo.
Laying in ammo.
Yeah. Just,
We got to hear this story.
If you go to, it's not what you know, it's who you know. I was party to an invitation to do a tour of Lake City Army Ammunition Plant. You know, they have these huge containers just full of hundreds of thousands of rounds.
Wow.
And to actually lay back into 250,000 rounds.
They let you do that?
7.62.
Did a few slip in your pocket?
Officially, no.
Really?
I don't think.
So it was just a thought. You wanted to. You didn't really.
Yeah, for
There
this
you go.
context, it was just a really cool thought. I got to run my hands.
You know what that makes me
through it
think
all.
of? Do you,
DuckTales?
yeah. You remember Scrooge McDuck diving into the
Yeah.
gold? That would be awesome. Diving in. If you
that-
could actually do that, it'd probably hurt pretty
Or-
bad. But
If that would have been me, I would have taken off all my clothes and been like, cannonball.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate
with
Factory.
the Elton John grip.
I mean, it easily could have happened. They had 50 caliber room, the 7.62 room, the 5.56 room. You know, just these huge containers full. It was fascinating to see these machines. They're cutting out 1,200 rounds per minute.
And why do we have a shortage?
But yeah, so coming back to your question, I guess I just kind of got introduced to firearms through the military.
How about you, Matt?
No, I started out as a little guy with a BB gun at like 3. My dad was like, "Hey, we're going to get you this BB gun and prop you up. I'm let you pull the trigger behind this thing." And I was like, "Okay." And I killed my first animal at like 5, and hunting and stuff.
He's like Daniel Boone.
I mean, it was crazy growing up with guns and stuff, but and then started competition shooting at about 12, and then took it into the more serious firearm realm. Late teens. Had been competitive a little bit, but I was like, man, how do you turn this over into like what's practical, and how do you tactically apply it? And that led me to like, man, I like shooting guns, and I'd really like to do this for a living and go and shoot bad guys. So I was like, more than these paper targets, they don't deserve it.
Something that shoots back. Yeah.
So that kind of led me to my profession, and then that whole like I just want to be good at it so I can outshoot the bad guy, and then that led me to, well, if I can teach other people, then I can probably teach myself.
Right.
And spiraled into where I'm at today. So
Well, you could tell both of you really enjoy doing it, and that's one thing that if you are going to be teaching people, you got to have that passion for it. If you don't, then nobody's going to get anything out of it, and that's one really, really important thing that I saw both of you guys had.
Yeah, I'll say there's nothing more rewarding than taking somebody who's never really shot a pistol, and in a couple hours they're keyhole shooting.
Sure.
And you just see the light come on in their eyes.
oh yeah, or like I taught a school teacher once. She had not touched a gun before, and like after 2 days of a pistol class, she was like shooting, moving, reloading,
Wow.
on the move and clearing malfunctions. And she left. She was like, "Wow, I can't believe I can do this." I was like, "Yeah, you can. You come from that background, never touching a gun, and now here you are running and gunning with the best of them." So I mean, it's easily doable, and it's fun. It's so rewarding to see that transformation, in a person's skill set.
Y'all mentioned earlier competitive shooting and how it's kind of evolved between tactical training and competitive training. Is that something y'all are going to look at, doing also? Maybe some competitive events up here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really excited about starting to get into the IDPA IPSC tournaments.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do IDPA next week because it's every Tuesday at the Army, right?
It is.
Yeah. I'm thinking about doing that if I can free up the time.
Cool.
Are y'all going to come up with a class maybe, like for competitive shooters? Somebody who wants to get into improving that aspect of their range?
I probably won't do anything like that just because it's not my background.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm more about tactical shooting. Somebody was wanting to, shoot IDPA tournaments and have never really had any kind of formal instruction on shooting a pistol. Then I could help bridge that gap because basically it comes back to the fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, I know the 4-step draw that you were showing us earlier. I see all the people in the IDPA matches and IPSC, and they're all doing those motions when they're doing the competitions. So that was pretty neat.
Yeah. Barry, what about you? How'd you get into firearms?
I'm from Texas.
Yes.
Enough said.
That's it. Texas,
Right.
You're born and you're handed a 22 out of the womb.
At 8 years old, I got what was my grandfather's gun and my father's, first gun. I still have it. I shot it this morning, my little pump 22. Living on a farm, being around rattlesnakes and critters and, having to watch after the livestock and what have you. We'd get $20 a pelt for every coyote that we took the rancher, because if you've ever had to stretch a 4-strand barbed wire fence, you don't want to do it every other week. So it was a way of life. It was a tool. You had a hammer, you had a pair of pliers, you had a gun, you had multiple guns,
And you were
shotguns.
taught how to properly use.
I shot my very first shotgun, a 12-gauge pump. It was a Model 97 Winchester, riot gun, 12-gauge shotgun at age 4. With help, of course, but to really understand.
4-year-old.
No, I fell back 6 feet, but I hit that oil can on the fence post, and it was important to understand the significance of that piece of metal, that metal tube leaned up against the back door or up over the mantle, wherever it might have been at that particular time of the day. If you teach your children at an early age how to use a tool, how to use a hammer. Guys, why are we talking about banning semi-automatic weapons? Hammers, blunt instruments kill twice as many people every year.
Knives.
But it's a tool. It's really what it is. And any operator, anybody, law enforcement, it's a tool. Then, after you learn it's a tool, you can figure out how to have fun with it, And so we'd have all kinds of ATM hunts, out on the farm, anything that moves. It's just good times, But you got to learn. I can't even remember. I think I was 6 or 7 when I first got introduced to the 10 laws, of gun safety, the 10 rules. And you live by those. You can, everything you think about. And it carries over into other things. It's a matter of safety, consciousness, awareness that as you operate a tool, be it a router, a table saw, a hand drill, anything like that. I honestly find myself reverting back to, hey, that's kind of like a gun. I need to be careful and not point that nail gun at somebody.
Right.
It's just a nail gun, but hey. So it's very important. And again, it's just part of life. Growing up, and I'm very thankful for that upbringing. Yes, sir.
Now, Terry, do you have any law enforcement military background?
I do not have the honor of any type of uniform in my background, and that's how I see everyone that wears a uniform of any kind, be it the security guard at the mall, our sheriff's department, our military, law enforcement. They have my utmost respect and appreciation for their service in making my way of life possible. So, hats off, salute, thank you, everything. But no.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Not in my background.
Brother.
And thank both of you guys for your service. Definitely. Sam and Matt, thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Also,
thanks for paying your taxes.
I was going to say thanks for giving me a
Edit
job
that
I
out,
like to do. That's the way I consider it.
Yeah. One of the things we talk about on here is pop culture stuff that involves guns, whether it's music, video games, or movies, or TV shows. And we ask everybody what their favorite, be-all, end-all pop culture thing.
Like we were shooting on the range today, you said Magnum PI.
Oh, there we go. I think we already got Sam.
That's like my all-time favorite
But his was more because of the
TV
mustache,
show.
not so much the guns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Terry's
Terry,
ready.
go first. He,
Oh, it's
he's
easy.
got this nailed.
It's easy, man. Quigley Down Under.
Quigley Down Under.
Quigley.
I never would have thought
Another
that.
Tom Selleck.
Listen,
right.
hey, I tell you what, when he yanks up that sharps and just drills that bucket. I mean that as a youngster, that made me immediately go, how do I do that?
Right.
I want to do. Yeah, man,
I had
it was
not
just,
thought of that
wanna
movie
go to
in
Australia.
years until you just said that.
Well, but guess what? I mean, it's a single shot rifle
Yeah.
that just reaches out there, and I mean, ever since then, I've been enamored with long range shooting. Ever since then,
That's
I got to go to the NRA, the Firearms Museum, and there it sits. It's
Really?
right there.
Oh, it's in
The
the
actual,
museum.
the same rifle. And when you go to the NRA headquarters in Virginia, right outside of D.C., you can see Matthew Quigley's the actual Sharps rifle. It's got the rear tang, elevated sight, and everything. The octagonal barrel. Yeah,
Tom
Did you get a
Selleck, he's a
picture?
board member of the NRA, right?
I'm not sure.
I think he is.
Could
We
be.
need to look that up.
I'm gonna have
If he's
to
not,
say-
I'm going to be disappointed.
Mine is Outlaw Josie Wales. When
Clint Eastwood.
when those guys were coming across the river, guys like, "What are you gonna do, Josie? What are you gonna do?" And he's like, "Missouri boat ride." And he shoots the rope like that.
Somehow I pictured Outlaw Josie Wales too, but like synonymous.
High
was-
five.
Did we just become soulmates? I mean, best friends.
I think we did.
think
Do you
we
want to
did.
touch my drum set?
You know, I was watching Cops
Is it
earlier.
sacrilegious to call you beret buddy?
Yeah, I've been wanting to say this all day, and I didn't want to offend you, but you kind of look like Will Ferrell.
We talked about that while he was in there.
We did. We had
I've
this
been
discussion
dying to
earlier.
say that all day. I've been
But
biting my tongue.
wait. Sam has better hair.
Oh, without a doubt.
Much better.
Sam is also
got-
known as the hair. And
He's got the Dane Cook hair.
yeah. Oh, Dane Cook too. He's kind of a cross between Dane Cook and Will Ferrell. I don't know if that's a
I don't
compliment
know.
or not, though.
I would think that if George Clooney, Brad Pitt, and Antonio Banderas were to have a love child, you know what I mean? Conception being in a tanning booth. This I would be their
That's
offspring.
Sam.
Yeah, there's Sam.
That's Sam.
So the Will Ferrell and Dane Cook was just way off.
That's the product of their love child.
They make beautiful babies.
Well, I'd say mine's probably the pop culture items. Probably John Wayne. Like he just kind of embodies like everything American, from the Green Berets to the
The Great Western
Marine
Hero.
on the Suribachi to the whole thing. Hondo, Rooster Cogburn. That whole thing.
The Duke.
The Duke. Yep. He's kind of got his own. You just say John Wayne, like it's not, because I was thinking about all his movies. I'm like, man, a lot of pretty cool stuff there. But you just throw out that genre, and that's where it's at.
We mentioned Tom Selleck being a board member of the NRA, which he is. I did look at. There's some other people I never would have guessed. Carl Malone, the old basketball player. He's an NRA board
Really?
member. Of course, Wayne LaPierre. Of course, Ted Nugent. Interesting. I think the Carl Malone just really
John
kind of
Butt. Did you see that?
Which one?
John Butt.
Who's that?
That guy right down there. His last name's Butt.
That would be
That's
Bert.
funny because that's
Oh, is
not-
that Bert?
That would be Bert.
Well, I did tell you I've got a cataract in my left eye, right?
Ted Nugent, Oliver North, Chuck Norris.
Chuck.
of course.
Chuck Norris is a board member. He
But-
has to be. He has to be a board member of everything.
Chuck
Well,
Norris
you
is
would
just
think.
Deservedly so.
Yeah.
And who else would you think would be a member of this board, but is an absolute? He should be Jack Wagoner also. Sylvester
Chuck
Stallone.
Norris?
No, Sylvester Stallone.
Is he on there?
No, he's not. That's what I'm saying. I mean, Chuck Norris, yes, he's the manly man. What was that? The TV thing he was in?
Walker, Texas
Walker,
Ranger.
Texas Ranger, and
Lone Wolf McQuaid.
he had those one of those war movies that he was going to rescue in the P. What was that? What were the
Delta Force.
Delta Force? Yeah,
That's
same
realistic,
thing.
wasn't it?
Same thing with Sylvester
Like
Stallone.
numbers 1 through 12.
Rambo.
1 through 3.
Expendable.
His newest
4,
movie
actually.
coming out, Bullet to the Head.
Bullet to the head. But yet this jackwagon is on side with the gun ban
Yeah.
bullcrap. I mean, how much hypocrisy is tied up within that?
I think it all comes down to no more deadbeat parents.
There
You know what I mean?
you go.
I think
Amen.
you're
That's something to
exactly
go
right.
after. That's where it all stems from. I think you
Bad upbringing.
got an 8-year-old playing violent video games. Why is he at home playing video games?
Why is he not out playing baseball?
Yeah, go out there and
for
ride your
God's
bike. You know what I mean? Like
It's the easy route. Lock your kid in a room with Xbox and
yeah,
sake. Yeah.
don't do
With a
your job as a
babysitter.
parent.
absolutely. I mean, what do you think's going to happen?
But they want
And
the
they
government
take
to
away-
take care of them.
Well, and they took away all personal accountability with stuff too. It's never anymore somebody does something bad guy, John Doe, whatever your name is. It's the video games, it's the music, it's the movies, it's the guns, it's the the guy screwed up and
Yeah.
he did something stupid.
Yep.
I mean, I think personal accountability, which points back to parenting.
Parenting.
I mean, parents, that's your job to put personal accountability on your kids when they do something wrong or to teach them the right way.
And give them attention.
Yes.
It's more than that. They want to point the finger at the video game, but you bring up a good point. It's that autopilot, that parenting autopilot, to where they're not getting attention. Like I said, at 4 years old, I was given the attention of understanding the importance of this tool,
Sure.
the devastation it can cause. But that was grooming. That was maturity, and the kids aren't getting that maturity from the boob tube, from the whatever else they try to fill in the blank to
PlayStation, the
blame.
Xbox, the
Yeah.
handhelds.
I don't think it's the video games. I think that's just the substitute for the parent. So pick a substitute.
Yeah,
But
that's
at
what
least
I'm
call
trying
it
to
a
get at, yeah.
substitute.
It's the new babysitter.
Right.
Now, my sister was about 3, and we were riding a three-wheeler back. That dates it, three-wheeler, back in the good old days. And a rabbit hopped out in front of us. My dad's like, hey, there's a bunny rabbit. My sister's like, shoot it, Daddy, shoot it. He was like, are you really sure you want me to shoot a rabbit? She's like, yeah. He's like, it'll die. Like it is no more. And she's like, yeah, shoot that thing. And he went back and forth with her like 3 or 4 times. He's like, ow. Thing flops over, and she goes, you killed it. Like just puzzled. And I mean, that was her lesson at that point. She knew that gun, like you don't touch it. Like it'll kill people, it'll kill things. And I mean, of course, we ate the rabbit. That was awesome. That was a pretty cool part for me. But she learned real quick, like, hey, this is serious stuff. And a perception of it's not just
reality.
joking. Yeah, exactly.
It's actually consequences to your actions.
And that's a good point. I mean, hunting can be a good lesson in firearm safety, and because of that reason, because
see
some
something
kids
die.
don't realize that can cause destruction. I mean, just like one of the rules, you don't point the barrel at anything you don't wish to destroy.
Yep.
And
Just how much destruction one trigger pull or one unsafe act can unleash.
Right.
One
in the
second of
leg.
negligence could.
Your secondary effects.
what was it we said in that one episode? Every bullet has a lawyer attached to it.
Sure does.
So it's time for facts to fight the myth. And I'll go first this week. So my fact to fight the myth this week is quote-unquote assault weapons can be easily converted to machine guns. That is the myth. The fact is firearms that can be readily converted already are prohibited by law. None of the firearms on the list of banned weapons can be readily converted, and only 0.15% of over 4,000 weapons confiscated in Los Angeles in 1 year were converted, and only 0.3% had any evidence of an attempt to convert. While I'm talking about that one, have you all ever seen the video of that ATF guy? They confiscated like a truckload of airsoft rifles because this guy claimed that you could easily convert a AR-15 airsoft rifle into a real AR-15 rifle.
That's
Haven't
pretty
heard
good.
that one.
I don't know if he still is after that video, but he was. It was
They probably promoted them.
yeah, possibly.
I wouldn't doubt it.
But yeah, so that is a myth. The weapons we have right now cannot easily be converted into machine guns.
My myth, or my fact to fight the myth is assault weapons are used in 16% of homicides. The fact is, this figure was concocted to promote an assault weapons bill in New York. Go figure. Their classification scheme included most firearms sold in the U.S. since 1987. Centerfire rifles, shotguns holding more than 6 cartridges, and handguns holding more than 10 rounds. By misclassifying most firearms as assault weapons, they expanded the scope of a non-problem.
Well, I guess my fact to fight the myth is that not all Green Berets are John Rambo. I mean, yeah, you got some that are total bad A's, and just straight up can fight a one-man army type deal. But the job has a whole lot to do with other things. You got to build rapport with the local populace. You're working with a partner force. You're helping out in a host nation environment. you might be doing those people more good with medical skills and building up their village and clean water supply and things like that than you are with bullets. I mean, yeah, that's kind of what I like to do, is the bullets part, but in the end, it's a whole lot more rewarding when you see kids that have never had clean water to drink get clean water, or a sick person get healed just by some simple antibiotic that you got 1,000 of in your
that
red
they
shed.
otherwise would not have access to.
Right, and I mean, I think that's a pretty crucial thing, big part of what we do.
So, Sam, what's your fact to fight the myth?
My fact to fight the myth would have to be that not all Arabs hate Americans. And that's coming from being a Green Beret and traveling to the Middle East multiple times. They are not all saying Allah Akbar and death to America and training their kids from infancy to hate. That's not the case.
Probably work side by side with some of them too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They're good people, and they're just a little different than we are. Their beliefs are a little bit different, but not all of them have that hate.
The majority of them aren't anti-American.
Is it a majority?
I would think that it'd be the majority. There's a lot of, they got the same needs that we do. They love their kids. They want the best for their families and stuff like that. And I don't know. This is not what you see. When you hear people talk about Arabs hate Americans and all this. That's not the case. You need to go in the Middle East.
But in your experience too, you actually speak and you understand Arabic, so you're kind of like a fly on the wall too, to where you can, you were there in their environment and you could hear what they were saying, kind of behind your back, so to speak. So, like you said, firsthand experience there.
Yeah, absolutely. I was pretty surprised. My first couple times going into Arab countries, not in a theater of war, Oman and Saudi Arabia. And these people, they would totally open up their doors to you. It was, I don't know if they were just like over exaggerating or this is the way they always are, but it was like, wow. Just anything that they had, they'd give you. It was pretty take you away a little bit, take you back.
Did you find that the people that you did make contact with, that they were interested in American way of life? Did they want to learn more about, try to understand?
Some of them did. Some of them were pretty interested. And then, some of them were kind of like Americans that don't want to learn other cultures. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're like, all I care about is my culture. That was pretty much the same. But yeah, they're not all bad. Basically, what I would like to get at.
Back to what you were saying about about the whole. Not every Arab's out there to kill you. They've got kids. They got there's old women and there's little children, and like probably the worst thing to me about being overseas was like seeing a little kid my son's age digging through the trash and like playing with a water bottle in a trash pit like as big as this building, just going through it. And I'm like, man, riding by on the gun, I was like, oh my God, that kid is like my son's age right now. And I was like, this is the reason that I'm over here, is to try to help these guys. And it feels bad, when you see that. They're still
guilty.
people,
you feel guilty and then you feel proud at the same time.
Yeah.
You realize I think you really have to leave America to be able to appreciate it. Go to some of these third world countries and look around and you'll realize how good you got it.
Yeah. But, boiled down to a nutshell, is at the heart level, hate by any name is still hate. It's incumbent upon us to kind of not hate these people because they believe a certain way, because that's what we expect of them. Don't hate us. We're dealing with that in our own country. People that hate guns want others that enjoy them to not have them and enjoy them. Doesn't that boil down to the same thing?
Well,
isn't that topically what it's all about?
It's synonymous. So thinking back at your times overseas, it doesn't necessarily have to be overseas either. What's one story or event that really sticks out?
I don't know, there's so many of them.
Yeah, that's
one that I thought was kind of weird was I was talking about it earlier. We had one of my last deployments. We had an airfield right next to our where we were operating out of. We started landing aircraft out there, and it kind of opened up that whole area. It was like, oh, these guys have an airfield, so we can get supplies in that way. And so all the other units were trying to use it, which was fine if they came out there and like set up that airfield. You can use it as long as you can secure your own stuff, and you're not going to take away from what we're trying to do, because we got a lot of stuff going on. We don't have time to coordinate for your logistics and all this other stuff. So we got the call one night that stuff was coming in for another unit and they needed help. So we're like, okay, well, we don't have anything going on at the moment, so we'll go out there and help you out. Well, so the aircraft landed, it offloaded its cargo, and we're out there waiting. We're like, hey, this unit needs to hurry up and, come pick this stuff up. So we're out there for an hour, Another hour goes by, and I'm getting upset. And I'm like, well, I'm sitting here, special forces guy, guarding this equipment. You know what I mean? I was like, I wonder what this stuff is. So I look at it, and it's bunk beds. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm out here, you know what I mean? Like, I'm out here in the middle of this airfield guarding bunk beds. And then just as soon as I close the case on it, some bullets start flying over my head. And we started receiving small arms fire. And I was like, that's great. Thinking in my head, I'm going to die. You know what I mean? Over some bunk beds. So,
Wow.
It's pretty good.
Were they handcrafted?
I hope they were. I hope those were the nicest bunk beds of all bunk beds.
In the history of bunk bedded.
Yeah, so I almost died over
They
some
were
bunk beds.
IKEA bunk beds.
They probably were IKEA bunk beds. That'd be the way I go down.
Wow. Trivia from last week, we asked in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, when they're fighting in the living room, what gun does Angelina Jolie pull out of the fireplace? And the answer is a Beretta 92G Elite 2. So if you got that right, you have been entered into the next drawing, which will be a prize from Palisade Tactical. Very, very generous gift from Palisade Tactical. Sam?
2-hour free training session with
Wow.
Palisade Tactical.
Wow.
Covering anything you want to cover.
That's huge.
That's awesome. Very, very cool.
As long as
so
it's
I'm
not...
eligible for this, right?
You gotta look in the rule book.
3-hour training, and we're about to go night shoot.
well, I wouldn't really call that training. It was more like having fun.
Yeah, I was having fun.
As long, you
I
know,
did learn some
We were having guided fun.
Yeah.
That's what that was.
Guided.
I'll train you on anything that
that.
you want to know, as long as it's not like space shuttle door gun techniques.
The G. What did we call it? The GSS.
I don't remember the
So-
acronym. It's huge.
All right,
Yeah.
Matt, you got a story for us too, right?
Yeah, I got a pretty funny one. We went out on the range. My team took some people from a hospital unit. And it was kind of like a deal to build rapport and let those guys get out and shoot with the SF guys. Oh, man, it's so cool. And, we just do it for fun. They didn't get ammo their whole deployment, like, to shoot at all. So, they've been carrying around guns for a while, not shot since their pre-deployment cycle, just out helping people fix legs and whatever else breaks overseas. And they come out with us. They're shooting with us. And the first thing, Team Sergeant gets over to the side, and he introduces us all, and he's like, hey, here's a table full of target supplies, spray glue, targetry, anything you need to hang up, whatever you want to shoot bullseyes or silhouettes or FBI targets, whatever. And this table over here, distinctly 2 separate tables, has gun maintenance equipment, cleaning rods, bore snakes, gun oil, whatever. He's like, I'm sure you guys, since you hadn't shot in a while, you might not have cleaned your guns. Hopefully you have, but in case you haven't, here's the stuff to do it with if you need to. So about 10 minutes later, this guy comes over and he says, my team sergeant walks over about 10 minutes later and grabs the spray glue and says, if any of you use this in your gun to lube it, this is spray adhesive. It says it in big letters. He's like, if you use this, I'm going to clown you, was his exact words. And about 2 seconds later, the guy taps on his shoulder. Hey, sir. What if you use that spray glue in the bolt of your M4? what if you didn't just use it in there once? You put about 4 squirts in there. So he had actually opened his bolt, locked it to the rear, sprayed it inside, then let it go forward, sprayed it in there, and cycled it a couple times and sprayed some more in there and was like, then gets this, like, it didn't cross his mind that white stuff was spray adhesive. It was like, this is what I should put in my gun because that guy said something about cleaning your gun.
It's some sort of new aerodynamic super lube.
So he had sprayed adhesive at his gun.
So did he get clowned?
Yeah, he got clowned a little bit. My boss was like, hey, why don't you clean this gun? And I was like, hey, come here. Why don't you clean this gun to my juniors?
Yeah, I got one kind of compliment that. I can't name any names, but you hear this, you know who you are. They were taking a bore snake, cleaning the M240 Bravo machine gun, which is the 7.62 by 5.1 machine gun, general purpose machine gun that we use. And so he was cleaning the barrel with his bore snake. Well, he put the wrong size bore snake in there and got it stuck. So he can't. I just heard, hey, Sam, this bore snake's stuck in here. So I went in there and I was trying to help him get it out or whatever. And I was like, man, you're an idiot. So I went to go get somebody who knew what to do and for some more advice or whatever. And while I was gone, trying to find somebody who could help this guy out. The dude was thinking, I can know how I get it out of there. I can light it on fire and it'll just come out. So he lit that boar snake on fire, and pretty much the whole barrel just started just going crazy.
We've got some.
We really Piers Morgan that one.
Yeah, you did.
Piers Morgan.
We got the winner from last week when 10 Outdoors 9 was on the podcast. And the question was, how many Glock magazines does 10 Outdoors 9 have? He said, he was very generous. He said we could get it within 25 of the right answer. The right answer was 120. We got a few people to answer within 25. And the winner was from Twitter, 9x18. So if you're at 9x18 on Twitter, you have won that autographed Nashville Armory hat from 10 Outdoors 9.
Congratulations, 9x18.
We've got a trivia question coming from one of our Green Berets that are here tonight. Sam, what's your trivia question?
What is LGOP? LGOP. That's a military acronym.
Right?
Military acronym, LGOP. So add that, and then all the people who answered this past week's question, and this question will be entered into that very generous drawing for a 2-hour training at Palisade Tactical.
That's awesome.
And that is going to be a really awesome training. These guys are really, really good at what they do. Very, very informative. So that's our trivia questions. Thanks again to Terry, Matt, and Sam for having us out here. Well, we really appreciate it. We learned a lot. Learned I'm a left-handed shooter. That's going to take a lot to get used to. I'm still going to shoot right-handed, by the way.
Do it. You shoot both-handed.
Yeah, I can learn both.
Shoot both.
Yeah.
Get two gats.
I could be a real badass then.
Yeah, and that's something else I was going to tell your listeners. Like, if you haven't shot offhanded yet, you need to go ahead and start doing that.
Under proper supervision.
Yeah.
The point you made really hit home. Because it's like we said on the last episode, if you ever do get in a firefight, it's not like you're going to have the time to stop, get ready, point, aim. Hang on just a second. Let me wait.
Yep.
You know, that doesn't happen. So
gotta be a
it's not
reflex.
like you don't know your right shoulder, right biceps can get shot and you can't use your right arm anymore. And what happens if both arms get shot?
You got to fire with your feet.
That would be awesome.
Is
that going to be the news?
Have you seen the video of that guy doing it?
Are you serious?
There's a guy that does it. He's got no arms.
Wow.
You can YouTube it sometimes, like double amputee shooting a 1911. He loads
Accurate?
it. Oh, he loads it and he's shooting it off. He's laying on a car hood.
I'll be YouTubing
wow.
that tonight.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's impressive. Pretty cool.
YouTube that too.
You can check out Palisade Tactical at www.palisadetactical.com. You have a phone number, business number they can reach you at?
Absolutely. It's area code 615-430-6824.
All right, Terry, can you give us some information on 5-Star Retreat?
Absolutely. You can visit our website at www.5starretreat. That's FIVE, all spelled out, 5starretreat.com. From there, you can go to our photo album on Facebook. Please like us there on Facebook, but take a look around, see if this could be the home of your next event. We would love to have you, but we really want to thank you guys again for coming out to our place. We hope to see you again. We're going to make some range improvements out here as well.
And people can rent the cabins for like their family vacation too, right?
Yeah, if you go, all the rates are on our website. The cabins are very inexpensive for what they are, as you guys can attest. I mean, we're out in the woods, yes, but it truly is 5-star rustic.
It is.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
and it's about the equivalent of getting a chalet out in Gatlinburg. Come use our stuff. We're not going to wait on you hand and foot. We're not a resort. We are a retreat. So come, bring your stuff, leave it like you found it, enjoy yourself.
This place is a lot nicer than some of the chalets I've seen in Gatlinburg.
Well, Greg did a great job, and thank you very much for those compliments. He sends his thanks. He's sorry he couldn't be here today.
And to top it all off, y'all are super gun friendly with ranges and long range shots and all kinds of cool stuff.
We're wedding friendly too, yes, but we love to shoot ourselves.
Shotgun wedding.
You got it.
Go to our Facebook page. We've got a link to their Facebook page and our Twitter. We posted a post on Twitter too. Don't forget to go to iTunes, write some reviews for us. Helps us get seen by more people.
Go to
boosts
our
us up in the
Facebook
rankings.
page too.
We're trying to get to number 1. We got to number 3, and that's the closest we got.
Yeah.
But we're doing pretty well on iTunes. We're pretty proud of that. Go to YouTube too. When you go to YouTube and watch our videos, make sure you click subscribe. That way you can get notifications.
Hit the like
Hit
too.
the like button.
Hit the
That
like
helps
button.
too. Follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Don't forget to go to Ruger.com. They have that little automated thing where it'll send everything to your senators, your legislators, and do our little letter campaign, www.talkingled.com. Once again, left hand, keep your loved ones close
and keep your firearms closer.